Hello! My very first live video. And I've got everything set up by tape. I don't have a good tripod for my phone, so I'm actually going to check on my laptop to see if I can hear myself. And welcome. And if you can't hear me, let me know. If you can, awesome. Welcome. Hey, Lindsay, it's so good to see you. I'm probably as scared as you were last night doing your first live video. So let's check this out really quick. And I am going to try to answer questions and say hello. I'm going to be a little bit further away because I'm right in front of my oven. And I just wanted to welcome everybody for my first live video. Hopefully there will be more. Hopefully I'll get a better setup. I can make things a little bit more viewable for you. So I know it is, hopefully it'll be so fun today for me and for everyone watching. All right, so today we're gonna make my most favorite chocolate chip cookies ever. I did put the link above in my title, so if you do want to follow along, make sure that you right click and open it up in a new window so you can still watch the video and then follow along with the recipe. Don't click out of this video to go look at the recipe. I understand if you're in a hurry, do that, but I would love for you to join me the whole time. I'm gonna try to do this in under like 15 minutes. Well, maybe close to 20, but if you do have to leave, come back, push like, love, leave comments. I would love to answer any questions that you have, so let's get started. So the first thing we're gonna add is butter, and I've got 2 cold sticks of butter. I've made a lot of different recipes to where you have to melt the butter or soften the butter. This needs to be straight from the fridge, and you can't really see it, but I'll come show you when I'm done. And all I'm doing is cubing the butter just a little bit. I just cut it into little squares, and I'm gonna add it to my mixer. So I'll just slice it maybe 4 times down the center, or down the middle, or down the middle, and then 1 cut down that way. And in this cup, or in this bowl, I've got brown sugar and white sugar. I've got 1 cup of brown sugar, 1 cup of granulated sugar or white sugar that I'm gonna add. And then I apologize ahead of time. My KitchenAid has been fixed like 4 times by my father-in-law. And so it's really, really loud. So we're gonna try to do this quickly. Please stay on. If you've just joined, know that it won't stay on for very long. So we're gonna cream the butter and the sugar together until it's well mixed. And I don't know if you can hear me or not, but I came up with this recipe over about the course of 4 years, and I think I finally perfected it. It's one of my favorites. My Aunt Ellen, who I think is gonna join a little bit later, told me I needed to instantly take the recipe off my website and start selling. Oh good, you can hear, great. Start selling these cookies. I wish that I could have the time to do that, but I don't because I have 3 little boys, and actually they're home from school today. So, hey Kristen, it's so good to see you. So they might be coming in any moment because they have school off today. But I was just telling that my aunt wanted me to take this recipe off and for me to start to sell these cookies somewhere, I'm not sure. However, it did come about to where I might be selling these cookies at a farmer's market nearby. But I think I am going to keep the recipe live because I kind of want to save the world with cookies. I will bring you cookies. I'll tell you, make you a batch. I can't this week, but next week. And I'll even put white chocolate chips in them for you, Kristen. Anyways, we are just creaming the butter and sugar. And now we're going to add 2 eggs, which I forgot to get out of the fridge. So typically with chocolate chip cookies, a lot of the recipes call for bringing things to room temperature, but this recipe has everything at fridge temperature. Yes, you and your white chocolate chips, I love it. So we're gonna add 2 eggs, cream those together with the butter and the sugar. And then I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and I will let you know. Yeah, me too. I kind of love-hate it because I tend to get some in the middle of the night when I shouldn't. So one of my top tricks to any chocolate chip cookie recipe is to double basically the vanilla, unless it calls for a tablespoon. You don't want to do that. Any chocolate chip cookie recipe that you have that calls for 1 teaspoon, add 2. And if you're feeling daring, add a tablespoon. But chocolate chip cookies, everyone thinks that the secret to chocolate chip cookies is the chocolate chips, and it's actually the vanilla. I once made cookies without the vanilla because I didn't have any, thought, oh, it'll be just fine. Nope, didn't taste like a chocolate chip cookie at all. Yes, can never have too much vanilla. So I'm gonna turn this on just for 1 more minute. And another secret to some recipes, I believe on mine that I've linked here, is it tells you to cream the butter and sugar for 2 minutes. Cream the butter and sugar for 2 minutes. There's a reason why cooks or bakers have a certain amount of time for mixing or adding that makes a huge difference in any cookie that you make. So if it says that you need to stir it for 15 minutes in the left direction, never would you have to do that, but do it because there's a reason for it. So in this recipe, I believe I've got some time increments that you can do to mix the butter and the sugar together, and then the eggs and the vanilla. And then I can't wait to show you my favorite trick. It's so silly, simple, but my favorite trick to make how to mix your flour and your chocolate chip cookies together to make anything great. Any tips for softening butter? Yes, let me turn the mixer off and I'll tell you. So softening butter quickly, take a stick of butter, I'm not going to do it now, but take a stick of butter, fill a glass cup or a plastic cup, actually like this, like a large one that would fit, you're so cute, fit a whole stick of butter standing on its end, fill it with hot water. If you need to, stick it in the microwave, fill it, dump the water out, stick the stick of butter on a plate, standing upright, stick the hot cup over the top and leave it for about a minute, and you'll instantly have softened butter. I go overboard when I try to soften it in the microwave and it ends up being melted. Don't do that. All right, so we in here, for those of you who are just joining, have butter, sugar, brown sugar, vanilla and eggs, and now I'm gonna add my other plastic or glass, doesn't matter. Glass might be a little too hot to handle, but either way, just use hot pads, I guess. So to the cookies in here, I've got baking soda, baking powder, and a little bit of salt. Those measurements are on the recipe. I'm gonna add that. And then this is the super secret ingredient to these cookies. And I'm not sure you could just add this to any cookie recipe, so maybe try it out. But try this recipe first. So this is actually cornstarch, and I have a lot of it because I've invested so much time in these cookies. I've literally, since I posted the recipe and practiced it, I've made them maybe 17 times. A lot. I have not eaten the cookies 17 times. They've been given away. But so I finally got a jar for my cornstarch. So it's gonna call for 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. I just level it off in the jar. And it makes it soft and chewy. And I hate using the word fluffy when it comes to cookies because I despise a fluffy cookie. That's just kind of like airy. I don't know, there's something about it. I like a thick, chewy cookie, and for some reason the cornstarch helps that with this cookie recipe. So I've just added that, and now I'm gonna add 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. If I can find my cup measurement. So I posted a question on Instagram stories yesterday asking what everyone wanted my first recipe for Facebook Live to be, and I gave them 2 choices, and hands down it was this chocolate chip cookie recipe. So, and you're gonna figure out that I don't like to use dirty almond measuring cups. I just kind of winged it on the 2.5 for that. Right, new recipe that I posted to the blog. It's still on my homepage actually. So if you scroll down all the way to the bottom, the recipe is there. So I'm going to turn this on. It's going to be loud. However, I'm probably going to move the tripod so that you can see. I'm not going to incorporate all that flour until I add my chocolate chips, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. Oh, don't do that at home either. Turn it on low. Medium to low. Okay, and it's at this point, sorry, it's going to get shaky, and hopefully my taped on phone to my tripod does not fall off because my husband would kill me. All right, so that is what you want your batter to look like. So you can still see some of the dough coming through and then a lot of the flour. And this is the reason why. Typically with cookie recipes, you mix all the flour together until you can't see the white, and then you add in the chocolate chips. That will make for a tougher cookie because now you've overworked the flour trying to mix it in completely, and then you've overworked it again trying to mix in your chocolate chips. You could hand fold your chocolate chips in, but why? So I guess for sake of video, I will measure out. I do 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips, and then 1 cup of, excuse me, that was milk chocolate chips, and then 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Typically, I just eyeball it. Because can you really have too much chocolate chips? No, the answer is no. So I'm going to mix that gently, and then it will come together, and then I'll show you on screen what it looks like to mix. Sorry for my mixer. A new one is on its way. So see how long? I hardly mixed it. I just mixed it until the white was just gone. And let me show you what that looks like. Put everything down. And it'll make for just a softer cookie. It will last longer on the counter or in, you know, your cookie jar or whatever. Which if they make it that long, really in my house, cookies will have a shelf life of about 1.5 days. 2 days if there's no milk in the house. Because you always have to have milk with cookies. See, you gotta not overwork that flour. It's pretty important. So you saw how long? I hardly mixed it for maybe 30 seconds, if that. So it is just mixed together. It's super soft. Well, I shouldn't say super soft. It's not a tight dough, because then that also causes for a really tough cookie. Tough cookie, see? It's kind of soft, a little sticky, not terribly sticky. Okay, let's see if I can do this on camera as well. So the other night I had some girlfriends over just to talk and chat. We do that the first Thursday of the month, and it was my turn to host. And so I made the cookies. Yes, half the time we'll make 6 cookies and then eat the rest of the cookie dough. Anyways, girls' night, I made some cookies because I needed to take some pictures. I made a peanut butter version of this, which I cannot wait to share with you. And so I was testing out another version of this recipe. And made the cookies, and I mean, you'll see, they turn out to be about like as big as your face. All of the women were like, oh, these cookies are so big. I don't know if I can finish them. Do you know how many didn't finish those cookies? 0. Everyone ate the entire cookie, so don't complain to me if you think this cookie is too big. It makes just for the best cookie, and you don't have to hide it from anybody. I know, Lindsay, we missed having you. So my favorite tool in the entire world in the kitchen is a cookie scoop, and I've got 3 of them. And I apologize for the sniffing. I've got major allergies like everyone else in Texas. My cookie scoops, if my kitchen were on fire, this is what I would grab. Of course, if my kids were safe outside, and my husband. Cookie scoops are my favorite. I use them for pancakes. I use them for muffins, cookies most often, meatballs. This favorite tool in the entire world. So I totally would invest in finding some good cookie scoops. These ones I found, or I've had actually for over a decade, I think. I got them for, hey Maggie, how are you? Are you off school today? What? You need, I'm bringing you, do you have cookie scoops, Kristen, and you're just not using them? You need to. They're the best. They're easy to clean. So I've had these for about 10 years. I got them at Pamper Chef, and this one I picked up maybe 4 years ago at an outlet store. You can really find them anywhere. I'll link later on in my post where you can find them on Amazon. I cannot live without scoops. So this typically, the small one, and I think it's a tablespoon's worth, makes great mini cookies that take only about 5 minutes to cook. And then this is a typical standard cookie scoop. This is what I use all my other cookie recipes with. Makes for great cookies. Say you need to use it. I promise you, life-changing. And I don't spray them. Do I spray them? No, I don't ever spray them. If it's muffins, it comes out really easy because it has that little, I don't know what you'd call that, scoop inside the scoop that comes out. So no, I don't ever spray them. And plus these cookies have enough butter in them. So this recipe for these chocolate chip cookies, I always use the large scoop. You can, and if I've got it, this scoop measures 1/4 of a cup of liquid or ingredients. So if you don't have a cookie scoop for right now, if you're waiting for yours to come from Amazon, use 1/4 of a scoop, or excuse me, 1/4 cup measuring cup. And then what you'll do is you'll scoop out your dough and then you'll kind of roll it in a ball, because I'll show you why. You want these cookies to be high, and if you use a measuring cup, it typically will be flat. So let's see if I can show you. So I leave them just like that, sprayed on. It is gigantic. It's gigantic, and it's the best. So it's 1/4 cup of cookie dough. So typically on a regular baking sheet, it will, if I'm not doing it for a photo shoot, or if I'm not giving these cookies to friends, if it's just for my family, I will put 8 to a cookie sheet. If I want them to look pretty, because they'll spread just a little bit. I want them, if I want them to look pretty, I'll only keep 6. So for today, I will only do 6 cookies, and I'll show you where you can put your other 8. I've had these cookie sheets, we got them when we were married for a wedding gift, so I've had them for 17 years. My anniversary was yesterday. Happy anniversary. So these are well loved. If you have brand new, hey Laura, yes, please, please, please make these. If you have brand new cookie sheets, I would suggest using parchment paper or a Silpat covering, but mine are so loved and so seasoned, I guess, that rarely anything sticks to them. So yes, it's a huge ice cream scoop of delicious cookie dough. So let me pop them in the oven. Depending on your oven. Thanks. Yes, 17. You had a great time in Mexico, I hope. I can't wait to hear all about it. So I'll cook them in my oven. 10 minutes is perfection. So I typically like to tell everyone 9 to 12 minutes, depending on your oven, because obviously every oven is not made equally. And you just want to watch them, and I'll show you when we get to that point of what it should look like. You don't want them to be completely golden brown over the top. You just barely want them to be golden brown around the edges, and then slightly underdone. And I know that's probably going against everyone's knowledge of what they know about cookies. You really want to slightly undercook cookies to make them, 1, last longer, 2, to keep them from going too crumbly. You know, if you've got a cookie for too long, I know it doesn't last very long. Hey, Adrian! Cookies don't last long in our house, so they don't ever get to this stage, but if you have a cookie that's been left for a while, it gets kind of crumbly. This makes your cookies just last longer. And 2, I feel like they taste a little better if they're slightly undone. Now, we're not talking raw cookie dough in the middle. We're just talking very soft, ultra moist, which I hate that word, moist. But to describe it, that's how it is. So we want to slightly undercook these. Let me set my timer. So I'm setting it for 8 because I think I almost talked for about 8 minutes, or yeah, I'm setting it for 8 because I think I talked for about 2 minutes. So for those of you who just joined, here's our cookie dough. I just put a sheet in the oven, and this recipe makes anywhere between, let's see, 12, 13, 14, between